Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Classic Restos. You know, there's one classic car fraternity that has certainly evolved over time. The cars are cool, they are a little funky, and they're pretty groovy to own. And you'll see more right after this.
It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au.
Well, there's one special day of the year where classic Volkswagens and their owners gather. So if you're into your DACs, well, today is a German automotive haven of yesteryear at its very best. Welcome to the 2017 Day of the Volkswagen. But it's a little bit better than a day. It's more like more than half a century of them. The punch buggy, DAC, Volksy, call it what you will, the year was 1938 when the first VW filled the bill. The word Volkswagen means people's car. It launched in Germany, it's what Adolf Hitler wanted for his road system, and the car became a dead-set success, having been with us ever since. Starting off with the Beetle platform design, this car revolutionised and set the benchmark in the small car world, boasting its simplicity, ruggedness, and its ability to sit on 60 miles per hour, suiting an average family of 4. The cabin is also a sealed pod, which makes it one of the only cars to float on water, which is great if you cannot use your local bridge to cross the river. Like all cars, extensive R&D took place along with the arduous task of vigorous testing. Bang for the buck, the VW product, wearing its early designs, certainly held its own around the world. This two-door, four-passenger, rear-engined economy car was manufactured and marketed by Volkswagen from 1938, actually right through until 2003. The model became widely known in its home country as the Käfer, which is German for Beetle, and was later marketed as such in Germany and as the Volkswagen in other countries, including the Ladybug in France. So, was the legendary Volkswagen a popular car along with its derivative models? Well, apparently when you look at sales. From 1938 through till 2003, a staggering over 21.5 million were built, with over 15 million of this amount built in Germany alone. And now it's time to get around and see the cars that haven't broken down, that have actually made it to this tremendous day. First cab off the rank here today, obviously part of the Volkswagen family, the Karman Ghia, and we have Ursula. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Fletch.
That's good. Thanks for coming along.
You're welcome.
What a great day this is, the day of the Volkswagen. It's like the grand final for you guys, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Now, Ursula, a 1960 Karman Ghia, that's a pretty cool car to have. You're pretty lucky. You enjoy the car?
I certainly do. The car attracts an awful lot of attention wherever you drive it, I think, because they're quite unique and look quite different to anything else you see on the road these days.
It goes into the category of the car that can grow on you.
It is. I think you either love it or you just look at it and admire it for what it is, or think, what's that funny looking car?
What have you and Barry done to the car since you've had it?
Okay, the car was my mother's car originally. It had two previous owners. The car was purchased, I think it was sort of back in the early 90s from Hamilton's Auto House when they had a lot of early Volkswagens. And it was pretty much as you see it here today. The interior is original.
I love this car. I mean, I love the paint. It looks beautiful here. The name of the paint?
It's lavender.
Yeah.
lavender.
Yep.
So.
And as you referred to as well, the interior being original from 1960
Yep.
hasn't been reupholstered, hasn't been redone.
No, not mucked around with at all.
Yeah.
So it's pretty unique in that regard to have stood the test of time.
See, again, we haven't got a classic resto here. We have a classic preserve, don't we?
We do. That's right. Yeah.
With a partial restoration.
That's right.
Now, the time you've had the car, with yourself and Barry enjoying it, has it ever let you down? Are there things? What have you had to do to it?
Very little, really. I mean, it's used sparingly, but that's not to say it doesn't get driven. It gets driven quite a bit for car club outings and events like this, and we've had it on a couple of fairly major runs where we're out on the open road, and we were out one day with a bunch of other people driving far more spirited cars with a lot more horsepower, and they were all actually surprised at how well this little jigger kept up with them.
Well, because they're light too, aren't they?
A lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of fun.
Now, Ursula, it's great to get around Day of the Volkswagen, but yourself and your husband Barry are part of the Porsche Club too, right?
Part of the Porsche Club and the Porsche 356 Register. So they're two quite different organisations, and we're members of both of those
That's awesome.
clubs. Yeah, that's
awesome.
right.
And on that note, if you have anything to do with the car club, make sure it's registered with the Shannons Club, because when it's on there, it's there for the world to see. So it's an awesome website.
It is.
Got to be a part of that.
And Shannons are a great insurance company.
They are. Good on you.
Thanks very much, Fletch.
Checks in the mail, yeah.
As they say. Yep.
All right. No, lovely catching up with you.
Thank you. All right. Thanks very much, Fletch.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, the stylish Karman Ghia. And a fun fact, well, these cars were actually produced from 1956 through till 1974, with almost 400,000 of them being made during that time. Okay, who thinks old VW buses are pretty cool? Yeah, I do. How you doing, Paul?
Fletch, going great, mate. Really, really good.
That's good, mate. This is stunning. 1966, 21 window. What can you tell us about it?
Tell you, bought it from a chap in Sydney by the name of Matt on Shannons online. So it was in Melbourne, bought it over the phone. And the history I found about it was that it's got a sliding door, which was quite rare apparently, and it was owned by a chap by the name of Brian Burrows from the UK. And his claim to fame, Fletch, is he was a graphic designer, that's what I've heard through the grapevine, and he actually designed the Pink Floyd music cover. And I didn't know this after I bought it. This Yarrowglen last year, the gentleman says, mate, that's a pretty famous car you got there. I said, what's famous about it? He said, the door. I said, what do you mean? He told me the story. And he said, this gentleman, because in 67, 68 went to the bay window with the sliding doors, but most have the barn door. Yeah. And I look around all the time and I try and see another one with a sliding door. Wow. Can't see him, so yeah. Wow.
We look at the car, or we look at the bus from a distance, we look at it up close. It is stunning. From different angles, the paint changes, goes very dark. When I first saw it, it looked black to me. At this distance now, it's like a night sky, very dark blue. 21 windows, very, very cool. The convertible top up there as well. That's a stylistic feature in itself. The interior is brilliant. Gotta love the split window as well. I mean, that is such a feature of these buses. And of course, enhanced and rounded off with painted steel wheels, white wall tyres, and the moon hubcaps with the famous VW insignia there. What more could you want?
Not much. I've got a 66 single cab ute as well, which is my first one, which I drive around a little bit as well. And I got the Beetle here too, the 56 Beetle. Yeah. But this is the one that turns the heads, I must admit, when I take it out.
Good on you, Paul.
Fletch, lovely to meet you finally, mate. That's it, you're a gentleman. Thank you very much. Great questions.
You are too. Thanks, Paul. Bye.
My passion for cars began when Nana and Pop bought their new Toyota Crown. It was Nana's, really. She loved that car. We went everywhere in it. My passion now is just the same, even though my cars are a little different. I've still got Nana's car, couldn't part with it. And I reckon if she was here today, she'd be insured with Shannons too.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
If you have a restoration project, Hare and Forbes has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk, because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au, because Hare and Forbes has the range. Right, time now for a 54-55 Beetle. How you doing, Craig?
Good, Fletch, good. Am I in the right spot here?
Yeah, no, you're good. No, you're in shot. No, that's good. No, the cops will recognise you really well there. That's good. Yeah.
Good.
How are you, Craig?
I'm very well. How are you, Fletch?
Good, mate. Good.
Good.
Beautiful car.
Thank you.
It's got some history, hasn't it?
It does. It does. It's been in the family since 1957. So it was owned by my uncle and then to my father about a year later. And then it was Dad's daily driver for his whole working life. And it's done probably close to 400,000 miles. So before I've restored it as well. So Dad finished with it and then it came across to me.
Isn't it a beautiful story? To have a classic car but then back it up with that family history. I mean, this would be like an arm to you. I mean, you'll never get rid of it.
No, that's right. So it's for my son as well. Yeah. So my son knows it as Papa's car. Yeah. So every time we talk about it, so yeah, it's the family heirloom. I've had many a different classic car and they've all come and gone, but this one will stay.
So Craig, a partial resto, when was that done?
It's probably more close to a full resto. So that was about 4 years ago, and that took about 4 years and 3 different garages in mates' place as well as building my own garage. But so Dad modernised it over the years, and it was well known in the VW scene. Had a lot of 1500 parts and those sort of things, different deck lids, different doors. So we changed all that back. It's been a painstaking process to actually source all the stuff period to this car.
So what's the significance with 54/55?
So the heart-shaped tail lights signify it, and they've also got the click-clack doors or the groove doors as well, which is different to the later ovals, which is the late 55 into 56, 57.
So these Volkswagen people are really interesting to listen to. I mean, they know their stuff inside out, back to front. I think it's amazing with the VW product, especially with the Beetle, how traditional that the shape remained from the early days of the late 1930s, early 1940s, all the way through. They kept the thing the same, didn't they?
Oh, they did. Slightly bigger, I've owned some later Beetles and that sort of thing as well. But the style and the shape is classic.
Craig, we look at this car, the simplicity of this car. I mean, the dashboard. I mean, I could imagine that the owner's manual on something like this would be like a half-a-page leaflet. And also, too, the big speaker grille, Craig. I think that's pretty cool on these early Beetles, right above the radio.
Yeah, no, it does look good. And some of these cars didn't even have radios as well. So, there was the radio delete panel also. So, But it's a nice feature, that old chrome and also the old mesh that goes in there too. And again, another hard part that I had to source for this car in the restoration.
Now, Craig told me before we started filming, ex-paramedic?
That's correct, yep, with Ambulance Victoria.
Yeah, good on you. How many years?
12 years.
Talking about safety, were you inspired, I guess, to do something with the seatbelts on this car? What's the go there?
Yeah, so this car was delivered without seatbelts and actually can still be registered on the road with no seatbelts. So back in 1954-55, there were no seatbelts. I decided to do a lap sash belt, just with that sort of vintage speed feel, and it's red, so it's a contrast just to make it stand out. But I just thought it was important to have at least a safety feature.
You just can never have too much safety, can you?
I don't think so as well, and certainly, as we talked about from my past experience and background, I have seen the best and I've seen the worst of situations as well.
Not a silly question, but obviously you give that 100% endorsement to run seatbelts?
Oh, I give that 100% endorsement to run seatbelts for sure.
There you go. There's some great advice. All right, Craig, well done, mate. I like what you've done with the belts. It's certainly a nice touch to the car.
Great. Thanks, Fletch.
There's something about black steel wheels on a car. Gives it that tough look. Even this 54-55 Beetle, throw some black steel wheels on there, you'd need a big tin of Mortine to knock out the look of this tough bug. Moving through, time for a Ute. How you doing, Daniel?
Yeah, going well, thanks, Fletch.
That's good, mate, that's good. Now, this is the customised section of Classic Restos on today's show. You've got a 1975, it's a Ute, you've done a few different things. Run us through what you've done, Daniel.
Yeah, basically I took a stock standard Ute that I bought or swapped it for my oval window back probably about 15 years ago now. I swapped it for that, drove it around for a few years, pulled it off the road, decided it was time to give it a bit of a flick over. It started out as being just a easy little clean up, which turned into a bit of a blowout full resto to almost a show car. So basically took it from a ground up restoration, added a WRX engine, went through all the driveline, limited slip diff, Albans gears, big brakes on it, so it's got brake upgrade and custom interior. So
you didn't go the Porsche Stuttgart in terms of an engine?
No, look, I weighed up many options of engines. I decided that I'd be cheap and go the cheaper engine, and went with the Subaru engine, which probably my daily job's building performance VW engines. If I had my time again, I'd probably do a performance Volkswagen engine over doing the conversion, but at the time it was never designed to be what it is.
Well, mate, there's nothing wrong with the Rexy engine.
No, look, and it does. It performs really well. It's got just over 200 horsepower at the wheels, so
That's awesome. I mean, Subaru, they've always built a really great product. Just winding the clock back a little bit, have you got any regrets for getting rid of your oval window?
Oh, look, my oval window had grand plans. I bought it back when I was about 14, and then I stripped it back to a bare shell, and had a little bit of rust on the inner sills, and it just didn't sit with me right. I had to start cutting the thing right up, and I think the grandeur of the restoration was wider than my mind at the moment. At the moment of when I had it, so. Basically, I think that I parked it in the shed and in the corner at home, and time went on, and the passion for that car sort of drifted away. So yes, I do wish that I had it, but at the same time, the Ute become my focus.
Daniel, you've kept it nice. You haven't gone too overboard. What is the silver paint colour?
I think it's called New Steel. It's off of a Honda.
That'll do.
Yeah,
We'll call it New Steel.
Yeah.
And you've just got a bit of contrast with the black there, a bit of blackening out sections with headlight surrounds, front bar. It looks nice. You've also done custom interior with like a little bit of bling, just a little bit, a bit of billet on the doors.
Yeah, look, I tried to keep it very subtle, so I went with a black leather interior on the seats, mixed with a bit of carbon fibre sort of look vinyl. Yep. I just wanted it to sort of not be too leery, and the same with the chrome wheels. I was umming and ahhing on putting them black or chrome, but I bought them, back when I started the project. I got the stance right at the start so that I could visualise it, and then the chrome was in at the time, and now it's sort of drifted away.
I've got some personal views, fairly strict on customising any car, but when you get to that level where it's just nice and some clever work's been done, that's the level of achievement that's, in my books, pretty good, and that's exactly what you've done here.
Yeah, the wheels were sort of something that I spent weeks on end looking through different catalogues and that, and I think they're a BSA wheel or something like that. Yep. I just had them custom drilled to the stud pattern and stuck them on.
How cool's this? That's one of the coolest trucks here today, mate. So, and also, look, he took the car seat for his child out of the front, so you're here with your family as well. So just as well they've got a second car, right?
Yeah, no, that's right. And I got all the stuff from our display today in the back. So yeah, it is not just a show car or anything. It's actually a used vehicle that I drove for probably about a year and a half daily, and then now I've just moved it onto club plates.
That's great, mate. Well done, congratulations, and being part of one of the largest Volkswagen days here in Australia, the 2017 Day of the Volkswagen. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Kombi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Heron Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. And with a range like this, you cannot go wrong. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps. Air compressors and different air tools. Sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House, and they're also open Saturday mornings. Their range of machine tools are workshop tested. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare and Forbes has the range. Well, there's no secret that I enjoy my history when it comes to classic cars, and this next car certainly showcases that. How are you, Chris?
Good, thanks, Fletch.
That's the way, mate.
Having a great day.
Good on you. And why wouldn't you?
Well, on a day like this where you get so many Beetles and so many Volkswagens here, you can't help but enjoying yourself.
Very, very cool stuff here, and your car's no exception. Now, we're talking original here. A 1956 Beetle, never been restored.
No, never been restored. I like to think of it as a preservation rather than a restoration.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, the first owner of this car had it for 60 years, and there's a few scrapes and bumps on the car, but it's still original condition. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So how long have you had it? Where did you find it?
Okay, actually the car found me. I got rung up by the lady's lawyer and said, I've got an old Beetle, would you be interested? And I said, where is the Beetle? I want to see it straight away.
Now, Chris, tell us about this car. What can you tell us about it in terms of its condition, the natural patina, a few little scrapes, as you mentioned earlier?
Yep. The blue colour is absolutely original, and the interior is red with white piping, and it was a one-owner car, so the owner only sat in the driver's seat, obviously, and the passenger seat is just about brand new, as is the whole interior of the car, which is quite amazing, really. Yeah.
The original steel wheels as well.
Yeah, no, it's all as it was. Each guard's had a little bit of work as it went along, but it's still got the original paintwork with all the dints and stone marks that have happened through time.
And with all due respects, just think about, 30, 35 years ago, these were cars that were hard to give away.
Yeah, they weren't worth anything at all. But this one is a bit of a time capsule. This I was driving over Christmas Hills and down into the valley of Yarra Glen, and I felt like I was in the 50s or 60s. It was just amazing. Yeah.
You know, there's no doubt about it. It's almost to the point now where it doesn't matter what classic car you have. If it's old, it's cool, and there's a value on it.
Yeah.
It means something or a lot to the owner and other people as well.
I see myself as a custodian.
Yes.
We're all custodians, and I'm hoping that I actually leave this car in better condition than what I got it, so that we'll be able to pass it on to future generations.
Absolutely. Chris, lovely talking to you, mate.
No worries.
I always love to hear a tug at the heartstrings story when it comes to an old car, the history, who owned it, where you found it. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, that's what a car enthusiast's all about, and we love our cars, and we put a lot of energy into making sure that the public can enjoy it as well.
With me now, the organiser of the Day of the Volkswagen for 2017, Lloyd Davies. How you doing, Lloyd?
Very well, thank you, Fletch. Having a great day. We've had unbelievable weather today. The numbers are getting higher and higher, and the quality is getting better and better. The customers are getting happier.
Yep. It's
a great show. We've been doing this now for 30-something years, I think, and it's been good. And VW clubs all around Australia are growing. There's a great demand for nostalgic type vehicles and the newer ones, and we're trying to encourage both. And we're very happy with the results.
And a lot of people are travelling from big distances as well, Lloyd?
Yeah, very much. A lot of Sydney guys came down this year. The Adelaide guys, Ben and whatever came over from Adelaide, and Brisbane, there's been a few, and it's one of those things. I mean, I've been travelling the world lately, the VW shows. It's getting that big. And
it's an awesome fraternity, great people, and the product has just got so much history, hasn't it?
It's amazing history, and one of the things that Volkswagen has that not a lot of other makes have is a diversity of models. There's Beetles, Kombis. There's so many models that people don't even know about. I even own a German military vehicle called an Ute, and I believe it's the only one in Australia. I could be wrong, but it's certainly the only one running and I know about.
You've got the disease, Lloyd, and when you've got it as bad as you have, well, that's what makes the proper enthusiast, and that goes for all of us. I mean, these car shows represent thousands of people that have interests at heart with cars here, crowds walking through that don't have a car, but they're showing support as well.
Yes.
So
there's a lot of people that will have a project at home and they're in the middle of looking for information. So our club, the Volkswagen Club of Victoria, is very supportive of helping people who want to know information, where to get the best parts, and that's what we're here for. We're not here to make a huge profit, we're just here to have a good time.
Awesome. Okay, well, bigger and better things for 2018, Lloyd.
And thank you for coming along.
Well, there you go, just some of the incredible Day of the Volkswagen for 2017. Go and get some bread and wrap that round your bratwurst. What an event. Make sure you're here in 2018 if you can make it. Check social media pages for more information and the dates. It'll be one event that I know that you will really enjoy. As I say at the end of every Classic Restos episode, until next week, no matter where you're watching from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.